In this video, I'm going to show you on how a multi-agent system works. First, I'll be showing you an architecture, and then we are going to go into a Python code walkthrough using a LangGraph architecture. So let's now jump into the screens. So in this multi-agent architecture, I'll be having a first agent, which is the code generator. So this code generator is going to take inputs such as user query. In this case, I'm giving a query which is related to some data science, data analysis. This code generator is going to generate a Python code, and this Python code will then be passed to a second agent, which is the code executor, which will execute the code and give back the data science results. Now let us jump into the Python notebook so that I can show you on how this can be implemented. So here I'm into the Python code notebook, and you can see that first of all I'm importing some packages which are related to LangChain. So LangChain and LangGraph give this framework in which we can construct this multi-agent system. So I'll be working with some data which is related to vehicles, cars. So here you can see this data. So this data has got some numerical fields as well as some non-numerical fields. It is related to different price characteristic as well as technical characteristics related to different brands of car. We'll be also using an OpenAI large language model. And let me first explain you the first agent, which is the code generator agent. So this agent is going to take a user query, as well as it is going to take the data definition, and then it is going to pass both of this to a large language model. This large language model will then give this Python code. It will generate a Python code, and it will not execute, it will just generate the Python code and return it back. Now let us see on how this code generator can be implemented. So first of all, we need to create a code generator tool. So this code generator tool accepts a query, which is the user query. Let's say make some clustering is a data science question. It is also going to take into account a configuration. So in this configuration, we can pass this data frame object. And we also need to define clearly that what is this argument about, right? So this query is about a user prompt. We can say that just directly take this and do not modify it. So we have to give some instruction to this tool on how this parameter which is passed needs to be handled. We also are going to take the data frame which is passed using this configuration, which is in LangGraph terminology, it is called as runnable config. And then we are going to use this OpenAI model, and here I'm using this GPT 3.5 Turbo. We need to first create a system prompt. So the system prompt is basically an instruction to the large language model on what it should do. So here we are saying that you are an assistant which is going to generate a Python code, and do not attempt to create any data, just take the data frame which is provided. And then we are also indicating that you need to create some code, and you do not need to do some visualization once you have created the code. Just place this code between these two markers like code start and code end. The reason why we are doing this is that we can later on extract the code, or whatever the code is placed between code start and code end, we are going to kind of extract it. Now we have to create a second prompt, which is the user prompt. So user topic prompt will be basically the inputs of the query, as well as it will also have the definition of the data frame. So these two are variables which are going to be the part of the user topic prompt. Now we can combine both this system prompt as well as the user prompt into another parameter called as message param. And here we are going to place the system prompt, and we are going to indicate this role is system, and then we are also going to take the user topic prompt and also indicate that the role is a user. And we then pass this to this OpenAI model, and which is going to return back to us the code, and this code will be placed between the code start and the code end, and we can extract it using this Python split functionalities. Now, once you have created this tool, you need to place that tool in an agent. So here we are creating the agent, and the agent has basically two things. First is the large language model, which is in this case, it is the OpenAI large language model. And then second is this tool. So we just indicate that the tool to use is the code generator tool, which we have created earlier. Now let us go to the second agent, which is the code executor agent. But first of all, we need to create this code generator tool. So once again, we define what is this code generator tool, and we need to just provide some definition that this tool is going to be used to execute the Python code. And then the argument which is passed is the code. So this code will be passed by the first agent to this second agent, which is going to take it and kind of execute it. But what we are going to do also, we are going to add some two statements before the code. We are going to append these two statements so that the code can read the data. So just as a reminder, right, we do not pass the data to the first agent is not going to pass the data to the large language model. It is just going to pass the data definition as well as the user query and return back the code. So the code doesn't know where to read the data from, right? So this is what we are doing. We are importing the file, and we are going to indicate that as in two statements so that before the actual code execution starts, it has got the data in it. Otherwise, it would lead to a syntax error. Now, once we have this code, we can execute it using this function called as Python Ripple. Right? It's a Python functionality which can execute any arbitrary code. So we just have to make sure that this code is safe. It is not kind of deleting so many things, right? So it's for this reason to use this function quite carefully. Now, once this tool has been created, so this is the code generator tool, we can then place it in this agent, which is this code executor agent. Once again, we indicate the large language model, which in our case, which is an OpenAI large language model, and then here we are indicating the tool. So just to resume, so here we have created two tools. One is the code generator tool, and the second is the code executor tool, and both these tools are placed in their respective agents. Now we are all set to create the multi-agent system using LangGraph. So LangGraph allows us to combine both these agents so that they can work seamlessly together. So we need to define some nodes that here we are defining a code generator agent, and then we have second node, which is the code executor agent. And then we also need to add some start node, as well as we also need to create an edge between the generator and executor so that once the generator is finished, it passes the work to the code executor agent. You can also display this graph, LangGraph, and here you can see that we'll start afterwards. The code generator agent takes over, and then once it finishes, it goes to the code executor agent. Now we can give a query such as here I'm giving a query like data science query. You can give any query on what you want to do on your data. Here we are saying that give me a clustering of numerical columns with 3 clusters. And then you can invoke this graph, which is going to take this query, and it is going to go through that multi-agent framework and first execute the code generator, and then it is going to take the code which is generated by the code generator agent, and then it is going to pass it to the code executor agent. And once again, you will have this warning, as I've indicated you earlier, that this Python Ripple can execute any arbitrary code, so we have to kind of use it with caution. So you'll have all the results in this result variable, and it looks quite complex, but it's very simple. You can loop through this result agent, and it will have multiple type of messages. So first is a human message. So human message is the message which is the user query, which is user prompt. In this case, it is give me the clustering of the numerical columns with 3 clusters. And then you have an AI message. So the AI message will be the result of the first agent. In this case, it is the code generator agent, which has generated the entire code for us. Right? So you can see that because we asked for clustering, it has automatically imported k-means, which is a library for code for clustering. And then it is also because we have specified that we want clustering only on numerical columns, it is going ahead and selecting only the numerical columns. And then we have specified that make 3 clusters. So it is going to configure the k-means so that it has got 3 clusters. And then it is going to do the clustering, and add another field called as cluster and populate this field with all the clusters. And then this code is going to then be passed to the code executor. So till here, it is just the code generator. It is not yet executed. It is going to pass this code to the code executor, which is going to execute all the code. And then it is going to give the results that it has generated 3 clusters as requested. And it has also defined the number of records. For example, in cluster 0, it found 125 records. In cluster 1, there were 16 records, and in cluster 2, there were 64 records. And then it is going to say that, okay, my task is complete, and if you want something more, you can go ahead. But the code executor agent has executed perfectly, and we can see that this is a very good example of a multi-agent framework where we are having 2 agents. One is the code generator, and the second is a code executor, which are working seamlessly together in order to get a user task done or a user prompt fulfilled. So my friends, this was a brief overview of what is a multi-agent system. And if you like the video, please consider subscribing to it. All this code I've also implemented on my platform called as datajarvis.ai. So you can also check out this platform and let me know your feedback. Thank you for watching.